I help managers, counselors, and consultants learn how to know what each person can do and cannot do, so they can put the right person in the right task and motivate and influence them for top performance. I'm Roger Bailey. After 4 years as an AT in the U.S. Navy in 1966, I took a job repairing computer equipment at IBM. When I left IBM in 1980, I was a senior programmer analyst working on staff for the director of IBM's most popular mainframe operating system. And while at IBM, I earned degrees in anthropology, a BS at Fordham in 72, and an MS in counseling at the University of Bridgeport in 77. In the late 70s, as part of my academic studies, I developed a linguistic interview methodology for managers, counselors, and executives so they can recognize what a person can do and cannot do, as well as know specifically how to motivate and influence that person. I named this methodology the Lab Profile, the Language and Behavior Profile. This tool is a 10 to 15 minute stealth interview in which the person being interviewed reveals information about how their brain works, what they can do and cannot do, and how to motivate and influence them. The person being interviewed doesn't know they are revealing all this information. It feels to them like they are simply having a conversation about their work history. The patterns being revealed in this interview are the person's metaprograms, the person's functional architecture. I don't see these metaprograms as programs. They are our brain's ability to perform tasks. These tendencies are our mental processing platform or our performance architecture. They are how our brain performs our mental and physical tasks. I see these structures as our boundaries or our frameworks within which our brains perform tasks. For instance, if I operate away from, my brain is constantly gathering information about what is going wrong or could go wrong. And if I operate toward, I focus more on goals and rewards and other benefits. Both toward and away from have valid purposes on the job. Some of us specialize in one of these and others specialize in the other, but a few of us can easily shift back and forth between the two ways of gathering and processing information about our world. I use patterns as the name of individual ways of thinking and acting, such as toward and away from. I use category as the name of sets of patterns, so that toward and away from are the patterns for the category of motivation direction. The lab profile helps you find which patterns each particular person operates with, such as toward and away from. And every person has at least one pattern in each of the lab profile's 17 categories, so that toward and away from are the possible patterns for the category of motivation direction. Everybody is goal-oriented or avoidance-oriented or operates with both. How the lab profile works for you. When you use the lab profile interview with your top performing employees at a specific task in your organization, you find that for many of the lab profile's categories, all of the top performers will have the same patterns. These results show you which patterns are necessary for top performance at that task in your organization. Over my last year at IBM and for the following decades, I have presented my Metaprogram developments at linguistic and business and leadership conferences throughout the Americas and Europe. I've continued teaching these thinking and performance patterns and the questions I developed to elicit a person's patterns. Over the years, I've expanded the number of patterns I'm working with to 54 and expanded the number of categories I'm working with to 17. The Lab Profile training program helps managers learn how to know what each person can do and cannot do so they can easily put the right person in the right task and motivate and influence them for top performance. One more thing about the lab profile's motivation patterns. Each lab pattern is organized around what a person has the brain circuitry to perform. For each pattern that we identify in the lab profile, there's a set of words and phrases which motivates the person who has that pattern. And there's an opposite set of words and phrases which hinder motivation for the person who has that pattern. In my online lab profile training program, I teach you the precise process and tactics so you can successfully apply the lab profile in your organization with all your staff, your suppliers, and your clients. Click the link in the description of this video to check out the lab profile training program I created just for you.